Right then. Hey, hi, my name's Chloe Sky, and welcome to my first Let's Play. I've decided to go with a game that I have quite a bit of nostalgic feeling for, one that I grew up with, and one that I'm sure that quite a few people have as well. I've decided to go with Pokemon Blue version, released worldwide in 1996. This game was sold alongside Pokemon Red and later in stores with Pokemon Yellow. I've chosen this one because I see Pokemon Red played all the time, and there's really no difference between Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red, apart from which Pokemon you can capture. That being said, let's get started. Hello there! Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. This world is inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for fights. Myself, I study Pokemon as a profession. First, what is your name? In this particular version, we have the option to name our player character different default names, or to give the character our own name, which is what we're doing. Giving a player character a default name seems really impersonal to me, and it's just a personal preference. Right, so your name is Chloe. This is my grandson. He's been your rival since you were a baby. What was his name again? Quick side note, Professor Oak might just be the worst grandparent of all time ever! Seriously, how do you forget your grandson's own name? That being said, he does give us the option to name him one of 3 default names, or to give him our own name, which we will do. Why? Because it just seems to be better that way. We're gonna go with Blue. That's right, I remember now, his name is Blue. Chloe, your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Let's go. Let's go indeed. We start off in our room in Pallet Town. There's not much to see here, and we will probably not be coming back to this particular location once we get started. If we go over to the PC and withdraw, we can get our hands on a potion really easy. That's really all this PC is used for, which means it's not as good as other PCs out there. Sadly enough. Here on the menu screen we have various options. One of them is Option. We're going to take the text speed up to maximum. Battle animations will make it so that we can actually see what our Pokemon are doing in battle. Battle style, if we take it to set, when we defeat a trainer's Pokemon in battle and they send out another, we will not be able to switch our Pokemon in the meantime. Shift means that we can, and we're going to do it that way because that's my personal preference. Save is pretty self-explanatory. Our name is where we're going to see how long we've been playing, the amount of money we have, and eventually what badges we have. Currently we only have these portraits, which show various people, except for number 8. Number 8 isn't there. Weird. As well as our name, obviously. Up in the items, that's basically our inventory. We only have a potion. And up here, we have nothing. Normally, that's where we would find our Pokemon party, but we don't have any Pokemon right now. Right. All boys leave home someday. It said so on TV. Professor Oak, next door, is looking for you. Well, let's do what she says and go looking for Professor Oak. Blue's house. Hi, Chloe. Blue is out at Grandpa's lab. Well, despite the fact that her mother said that he was next door, he doesn't seem to be there. Maybe she meant down here instead. I study Pokemon as Professor Oak's aide. Professor Oak is the authority on Pokemon. How many Pokemon trainers hold him in high regard? It doesn't seem like he's here either. Oh, hey, Blue. Yoko, Gramps isn't around. Well, that's obvious. Doesn't seem that he's anywhere around town, which is a little unnerving. Especially considering that if we try to leave town, he just pops up out of nowhere. Oh, shoot, he's just telling us not to go out. It's unsafe. Wild Pokemon live in tall grass. You need your own Pokemon for your protection. I know. Here, come with me. And he takes us by the hand, metaphorically, or maybe literally, you can't tell, and down to his lab, where we meet up with him and Blue. Gramps, I'm fed up with waiting. Blue, let me think. Oh, that's right. I told you to come. Just wait. Here, Chloe. There are 3 Pokemon here. Haha. They are inside the Pokeballs. When I was young, I was a serious Pokemon trainer. In my old age, I only have 3 left, but you can have one. Choose. Hey, Gramps! What about me? Be patient. Blue, you can have one too. Another tick in my whole Professor Oak is the worst grandfather ever opinion. We have here 3 Pokemon. Back in the day, this is Generation 1. You could only pick from these 3 Pokemon because, well, other Pokemon hadn't existed yet. That being said, abilities don't exist yet. Special is just one stat instead of being special attack and special defense. The steel type, fairy type, and dark types don't exist. And there are a lot of other little things here and there. But let's take a look at our first little option here. Bulbasaur, the seed Pokemon. A strange seed was planted on its back at birth. The plant sprouts and grows with this Pokemon. Bulbasaur is a good little Pokemon to have. It's even in its attack and defense. It's even in HP and speed. But where it really shines is its special stat. It's the best one out of all the starters to have a special stat. Sorry, I should word that a little bit better. It has the highest special stat of all 3 starters. It's only average in the other ones, in the other stats that are on offer. So if you want something that's a little well-rounded, but has some skill and non-physical defense and non-physical attack, then Bulbasaur might be one for you. Of note, Bulbasaur is a poison grass type, and as such, it cannot be poisoned. That's a good immunity to have if you want that. We don't want to pick just yet, we want to take a look at this one. Next to Bulbasaur, we have Squirtle, the tiny turtle Pokemon, a water type, and after birth, its back swells and hardens into a shell, powerfully sprays foam from its mouth. Squirtle has better defense than Bulbasaur, but its special isn't as good, its speed isn't as good, its HP isn't as good, its attack isn't as good. Looking here at my stat list of I do have the stats written down in front of me for all 3 starters, and I'm looking at them individually. Squirtle's defensive. Squirtle can take a hit, but he's not very fast. In fact, he's the slowest. So if you want something that can sit there and tank a few hits here or there, but not going to be all that fast about attacking, then you might want to consider Squirtle. As a pure water type, it's weak to electric types and grass type attacks, so keep that in mind. And last but not least, we have Charmander, the lizard Pokemon. It's a fire type. It obviously prefers hot places. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. Charmander, it's fast. It's really fast, actually. Out of all of the starters, Charmander is the fastest. It also has the highest attack stat, but it has the lowest defense and HP, so it can't take hits as well as Bulbasaur or Squirtle. It has a decent special stat, so if you're going to start throwing flames at people, you might want to go for Charmander. If you want something that can hit hard with its teeth and claws, if you want something that's fast, you're going to go with Charmander. When it evolves later on, it gains the flying type, which makes it immune to ground type attacks. So that's something to keep in mind if you want. That being said, this is always the hardest part of anyone's journey, basically, picking what your starter will be. After some careful consideration, keeping in mind Bulbasaur's immunity to poison, Charmander's eventual immunity to ground, and Squirtle's defensiveness, I have decided to go with Bulbasaur as my starter. I have two reasons for this. One, Bulbasaur is an amazing Pokemon to have, in my opinion. It's immune to poison, which means you're going to be saving a lot of money on full heals, antidotes, anything like that. It's got very decent stats all around. It's very easy to raise. It evolves a little bit sooner than the other two in the final evolutionary stage at level 32 instead of level 36. And this part is purely nostalgia, but when I was a child, I started with Bulbasaur. It was my favorite one out of all three. Do we want to give a nickname to Bulbasaur? Yes, we do. We want to nickname Bulbasaur after the plant that is implied to be placed on its back. This plant actually exists in real life, and it makes its home in jungles and will stick itself to trees and steal their nutrients. And when it blooms, it looks an awful lot like a Venusaur's flower. That is why we are naming Bulbasaur Rafflesia. It looks like it should be said Rafflesia or something like that. No, it's Rafflesia as far as I know. Your rival will then pick his Pokemon, which will always be Strong Tyrone. So in this case, he picks Charmander. Let's take a look at Rafflesia's stats. Here on the stat screen, we can see the type that the Pokemon is, or the types as it is right now, their level, how healthy they are, if they happen to be suffering from any status conditions, and their overall stats, as well as their placement in the Pokedex. It seems we have a Bulbasaur that's got really good special, but not so good on the defense. On the next page, you can see how many experience points overall Bulbasaur has, as well as how many they need to level up to the next level. As underneath that, you can see their moves. Tackle and Growl, very basic moves. They're not that great, but they're decent for what level your Pokemon is at. Tackle is pretty much what it says on the tin. Your Pokemon's just going to hurl themselves at their opponent as hard as they can and hope it hurts. It doesn't have any secondary effects like flinching or paralysis. It's just, I'm going to throw myself at you and see if it hurts. Growl is not an attack at all. It doesn't do damage. Instead, it will lower your opponent's attack, making it harder for them to hurt you defensively. It just makes them hit you a little less hard. I really don't see the point of using moves at lower stats beyond this first part of the game, or really even at this point in the game. I'm more of a person that uses the secondary effects of attacks to do things like that. With that being said, what do you have to say, Oak? If a wild Pokemon appears, your Pokemon can fight against it. Fighting against other Pokemon is how your Pokemon's gonna... Uh-oh. Wait, Chloa, let's check out our Pokemon. Come on, I'll take you on. Well, this is leading into what I was about to say. Fighting another Pokemon will make your own grow stronger. Blue would like to fight, and he sends out his Charmander. Level 5. Scratch and Growl is what Charmander has under its belt. It's going to start growling at us, and it's not going to be all that great for attacking us. We're just going to start doing tackle over and over and over again. The first rival battle is always just a little bit... ouch. A little bit boring because, well, you're going to be using tackle over and over again. And we're not going to be doing that much, I think. A critical hit. Critical hits are not like they are in later generations, as in they are like random happenstance. They are tied to your speed stat. The higher your speed stat is, the more critical hits you're going to get. You're going to inflict, as a general rule. Ouch. Victory does not seem to be all that possible. It doesn't seem like Rafflesia is doing all that well, unless we happen to use this potion that we happen to get from the PC. Then we have a chance of winning. Actually, it's pretty much guaranteed, considering, you know... Unless by some crazy fluke happens that we miss, like, the next 15 turns or so, we seem to have victory in the bag. Watch that happen now, because I said that. Please don't let that actually happen. Oh, right. As I was saying earlier, critical hits also will do double the damage normally that it would normally inflict, ignoring step. Well! Who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming. Alright. Yeah, am I great or what? Okay, I'll make my Pokemon fight to toughen it up. Chloe, Gramps, smell you later. Screw you, Blue. You ruined my... Okay. After the battle, your Pokemon is instantly healed, and just don't go talk to Professor Oak. He's gonna... Well, he'll just tell you that, you should battle a Pokemon to make it toughen up a little bit better. Well, now that we have a Pokemon, we can actually leave town without any interruptions. As Oak said, wild Pokemon live in tall grass. And Pidgey is a wild Pokemon that lives in tall grass. Huh, who would have thought? To make up for that little, Gust does not do as much damage as it would in later generations because Gust is a normal type move in this generation, which is why it's not doing super effective damage to Rafflesia, who really is not impressing me right now. Special is categorized a little differently in this game than in other games. I believe it was in the fourth generation that moves were divided by special and physical, depending on what the move itself was rather than the type of the move. Up until then, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, and something else that's eluding me right now was special. Well, now that we're out of Pallet Town, where exactly are we? We're on Route 1, from Pallet Town to Viridian City, and it seems like it's a good time to stop and see what happens next time after we get off this route. Yeah, so next time we're going to be heading to Viridian City. See you then!